How does it feel to be the same sex as Donald Trump?
I don't know. I mean, kind of feels like, man, it's like alright. I don't really think too much about it. And actually, there's actually one huge problem with your question. It presupposes that people in general universally hate Donald Trump, when that's not the case. I mean, to be fair, I think all of politics is just a giant chicken show, so I really don't give a shit about politics in general, but as far I know, Trump has quite the following right now. So, if you were asked the man who likes Donald Trump, he would probably be, if not apathetic towards the whole thing, because he didn't choose to be a man, he'd probably be alright with it or happy. I don't know. I mean, let me ask you a question. How does it feel to be the same sex as Casey Anthony or Hillary Clinton? Now, see, if you like Hillary Clinton, that wouldn't be an insult. And if you like Hillary Clinton, you'd probably get just whatever, just pure apathy from it. I don't know. I just don't understand that question. I guess you're trying to be funny, but it doesn't work.
Why do you hate rom-coms?
You know, at first I didn't know what she was talking about, but then I realized romantic comedies. And to say I don't hate romantic comedies, I just don't think much about them. Only because it's the same premise continuously. A woman has to get out of her own ass to be happy with a nigga who was there the whole time. That's the plot of almost every romantic comedy ever. And to be honest, I just don't always find them very funny. I don't hate them. They just aren't pinnacles of cinematography, I guess I could say.
Or do you just feel like you need to hate them?
Everybody likes The Notebook.
Well, not necessarily true. In all honesty, I watched The Notebook, right? And I don't really even understand the hype behind it. I don't really understand why very many women like The Notebook. In fact, when I analyzed the plot, I would understand why a lot of men like The Notebook. I mean, think about it for a second. The Notebook is about the story of a young man who builds a house for a woman that he hadn't seen in years, and then she comes back, has sex with him, and then she leaves this wealthy man for him because she genuinely likes him as a person. That doesn't sound like the story that a woman would like. That sounds like the fantasy of a man. A woman actually giving a shit about you and the hard work you put in because you loved her so much. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't really see why women like it so much. Yeah. It was an alright movie to me.
Everybody likes Beyonce. It's just a fact.
Well, not really. I don't really like Beyonce all that much, honestly. I don't know if this is just me, but does anyone ever get like a really bitter feeling coming from some of Beyonce's songs? Some of her songs just sound mean-spirited and bitter. And to be honest, I really like songs that either have like some kind of meaning or message to it, or like video game music. So I don't really have much time for pop music or music that doesn't really do much for me.
Why do you make women sit around and talk about men in movies?
First of all, I just name one movie. Seriously. I don't think in the past decade I have ever seen a movie where women do nothing but sit around and talk about men. Alright, I know you're talking about the Bechdel test, but the Bechdel test is stupid regardless. Even if the movie did have women talking about men, that's not a punch against the quality of the movie. You can have a deep, interesting, complex movie with women talking about men, the same way you can have a movie about men talking about women. I don't see how that's an indictment to a good movie. It just sounds like some more tripe to complain about. And more than that, again, I don't remember seeing a movie in the last decade where women did nothing but talk about men. Seriously, I don't remember. I mean, I could be wrong.
Y'all easily just sit around and talk about boobs for hours.
Why do
Are you serious? You really think men stand around and talk about women's boobs for periods of time? Probably the most any man has ever talked about women's boobs is probably upwards of 15 minutes. And that's pushing it. There's only so much you can talk about when you want to talk about just, bags of fat on a woman's chest. I mean, I think men like looking at boobs, but that's not really a subject of conversation. That's just, you just kind of look at them and then, you think about them and then you go about the rest of your day. You don't really sit and have intricate, complex conversations about them. What are you talking about?
you automatically assume that you won't like TV or movies that star a female lead?
Well, that's a hunk of baloney. The Life and Times of Juniper Lee was one of my favorite shows as a kid. And then there's Buffy the Vampire, who was a good show to a lot of young men. Not me. I never really cared too much about Buffy, but The Life and Times of Juniper Lee, that was my shit when I was younger. I even watched Totally Spies when I was a kid, and the Powerpuff Girls. Because when I was a kid, Well, when you're a kid, you just watch shows. You just watch stuff that entertains you, and those were some good shows back in the day. My Life as a Teenage Robot. Although technically, Ginny was a robot, not really a female. She's a female robot.
Are you surprised when women are funny?
I guess because it doesn't happen very often. I mean, there are some women who are funny, but some women who I find that people say are funny aren't really all that funny. For example, Amy Schumer. I think Amy Schumer is really, really annoying and kind of boring and uninspired, but that's just me. That's just me.
I'm probably funnier than you.
Certainly, anything is possible. You might be able to find them Okele Mimbe too.
Why do you think that we're obsessed with you when we hook up?
Because it only took one night. And I don't even think a lot of men make that assumption anyway.
9 times out of 10, I just want you to leave too. I'm busy. I got shit to do.
Okay, maybe you're the perfect whore or the perfect slut, but a lot of women actually don't do that. They use sex as a stepping stone into a relationship. Like, a lot of women stay in a friends with benefits situation or a booty call situation, hoping that eventually the man will begin to care about her the way she cares about him, never realizing that men don't think the way women do. So yeah, maybe you're perfect, but you're not the majority.
Why can't I sleep with as many people as I want to without being judged?
Because it takes absolutely no effort to do it. When was the last time you got a gold medal for breathing? Yeah, I didn't think so.
When men do it, they're congratulated.
Why do you consider a woman a tease if she doesn't sleep with you after 3 dates, but a slut if she sleeps with you on the first date?
And
I'm not entirely sure that the same people hold those opinions. I think this is just another issue with having a collectivist mindset of thinking all men feel the same way about everything. I mean, I imagine for some men, a tease would be someone who doesn't sleep with you on, like, I don't know, the 7th date. Or for other men, a tease would be someone who is purposely making sexual advances, then cuts you off and tells you to go home. I don't know. But anyway, I guess to answer your question, if someone sleeps with you on the first night, they're pretty slutty, and you can only make the assumption that you're not really all that special and that she's done it with other people. I guess if the same guy thinks she's a tease, if it takes 3 dates, it's because in between those 3 dates, they've been talking sexually and there's been a lot of foreplay, but nothing has ever come of it because she's teasing you. Ladies do that a lot, actually.
What world does no mean yes?
Now, this one is a little controversial simply because a lot of people don't realize it. However, there are some young ladies, not a lot, I don't know if it's a lot, but there are some who will, okay, I guess it's better if I just tell you the story, okay? There was a friend of mine, alright, who told me this story a couple months ago. He said he was getting all hot and heavy with the girl, you know, he's getting in there, they're kissing and making out. He goes to take off her shirt, and she slaps his hand away. So he's like, okay, cool, okay, got you, right? But she keeps kissing him, so alright, he's kissing her again, you know, he's getting all hot and heavy. You know, she starts taking off his clothes. He moves her shirt off again. She says, no, stop. So he's like, okay. So, I mean, after like the 3rd time that happened, he was like, okay, cool. I guess, you know, we'll just watch the movie. You know? And then she goes home. So the next day she calls him and she's like, hey, what happened last night? How come, you know, nothing happened? And he replies, because you kept telling me no. And she's like, well, yeah, but that's because, you know, I like it when a guy, you know, is like, you know, takes me. He doesn't take no for an answer. He just does what he wants. And he replies, so you want me to rape you on the off chance that you get off on that shit? And he hung up the phone. Now, I know some people will say that that's a C.K. Louis joke, and I said that to him. I said, hey, C.K. Louis had a joke like that. And he replies, yeah, I fucking believe him. And the moral of the story is, if you meet a woman like that, tell that bitch no and tell her to get the hell out your house, because a rape charge is not something to wag a finger at.
No means no.
Why do you say that women are too emotional to be leaders?
Then justify catcalling by saying men just can't control themselves.
The mere fact that you are even complaining about catcalling is the only counter-argument I need. This is why people say women are too emotional to be leaders. You get unsettled when someone says, have a good day, beautiful. You think you can handle someone saying, that's a goddamn stupid idea. You will destroy the country or our company. You will put us in debt. You can't handle compliments. You think you can handle someone that vehemently disagreeing with you? Come on. I mean, see, I can't even believe you actually had those same things in the same video side by side with each other.
Why do you think that just because you're nice to me, I owe you my body?
Because women say they like nice guys. That's why. If women stop telling men that they like people who treat them well, are sensitive and kind to them, men will stop being sensitive and kind to try to have sex with women. That is all entirely because of women. That's why. So that's not something you can get men to do. Ladies are all going to have to, have a little lady meeting, and they're all going to have to say, okay, look, listen, we're going to have to start being honest with men. We're going to have to stop telling them this tripe of nice guys. We got to do something about this, ladies, because they keep thinking if they're nice, they get to have sex with us or to get a relationship. We got to change shit. That is entirely a woman issue. Men can't do much about that because they have to appeal to women to date them regardless.
Why would you ever send an unsolicited dick pic?
I don't know. Why do women post pictures on the Gone Wild section of Reddit?
Why do you feel like it's okay to harass women or make offensive comments about women, but when somebody does it to your sister, it's not okay?
Well, for starters, and this is all the fault of Shoshana Roberts, by the way. I'm going to include "Have a nice day, beautiful" and the whole unsolicited comment thing. And so I'm going to say this. For starters, men have an invested interest in their mother and their sister. So I'm not really sure why you're asking that question, as if you're confused as to why a man would prioritize his sister over some random broad. That being said, however, if some guy said "Have a nice day, beautiful" to my sister, I find it rather difficult to be upset about that. If they said, "Wow, gorgeous, you look great" to my mom, I have a right difficult time being upset about that. However, let's take the more serious side of catcalling. Hey, yo, bitch! Let me get some pussy! Still really doesn't bother me all too much because he didn't put his hands on her. So, I mean, she just has to keep walking, and there you go. There you go, problem solved. And just leave.
How does it feel to interrupt me when I'm in the middle of making a point during a meeting?
Serious question. Have you ever had an argument with a woman? It's my firm belief that men never win arguments with women because women don't let men make counterpoints. Because the thing is, the whole interrupting thing, that's a people thing, dumbass. That's what people do. If you talk to women, they'll interrupt you the same way if you talk to men, they'll interrupt you. That's a people thing. People do that. Some people suck at having conversations. Asking men, "Why do you men interrupt me or interrupt me in a meeting?" is like asking, "Why do women interrupt men in the middle of an argument?" That's just what people do when they're rude. Come on.
You have to sit with your legs so wide open.
I get that you have balls, but I don't stand around with my arms wide open to make room for my boobs.
Well, that's because your body is anatomically designed to make space for your breasts. And also, you don't walk around like this either. I mean, yeah, sure, you might make the argument that you wear push-up bras that mash your kids together, but you still don't just walk around like this all day, pulling your goddamn shoulder muscles and your breast tissue, smashing them together. I mean, come on, I guess to answer the original question, it's a comfortable position. It just feels good. They're not doing that because screw you. They're doing it because it just feels good.
Why are women perceived as the weaker sex?
I will answer that question with a story. When I was in the 10th grade, I brought this hand gripper to school so I could use to exercise, right? And I was in the class, I was exercising, I was using the hand gripper, putting it together. Now, in this particular hand gripper, it takes, I'd say, about 100 pounds of force to close it all the way, right? And so this girl, one of my female friends, she's like, "Oh, what's that? Can I hold it?" And I handed it to her. I was like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." Now she grabs it, and her hands are smaller than mine, right? So she literally cannot hold the entire hand gripper, right? Just her hand doesn't even close, doesn't even wrap around the thing. She grabs it and she goes, right? Just can't do it. Can't fucking do it. Grabs both of her hands. Nothing. So she grabs the thing, presses it against the desk, and exerts her entire body on the hand gripper, and it still doesn't close. She hands it back to me, and I close it. So, it seemed that I had more strength in my forearm than I did her entire upper body. let that be the reason why people call women the weaker sex.
Even though we literally birth you, like watermelons through like this.
Yes, except there is but one problem with that. Women are biologically designed to do just that. The entire reason you have that whole, cloning facility inside of you is to eventually push human beings out of you. That's what you do. Your body was designed for that specific purpose. Or evolved. Now, I'm gonna make everyone feel good. It doesn't really matter how you feel. That's what you're supposed to do. So,
Why is it so bad to show your emotions?
because women don't like weak emotional men. And since men understand that, at least to some degree, they don't be weak, whiny, emotional men. That is entirely something up to women to change. If women accepted men being weak, whiny, and emotional, you would get more of those men.
It means you're human.
Why are you always trying to prove your masculinity to me?
Why the
Because women like manly men. In order to have sex with a woman, you have to prove that you can provide her resources and that you're strong enough to protect her. If women wanted weak, emotional, whiny men, you would get a bunch of weak, emotional, whiny men. Actually, here's the thing. Women say that those are the men that they want, and then men come up and be like that, and then women are like, no, I'm going to go date this criminal over here. That is entirely a woman thing. That's up to women to change. That's not up to men.
isn't it ladylike to cuss? When did words get gendered?
Why?
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 When did words get gendered? What?
You've never taken a Spanish class before. Or I guess you just don't even understand the language you're speaking. I mean, some people might call this nitpicky, but no, it's not nitpicky. When did words become gendered? When they were created. When they were created.
Why is it your first instinct to doubt women who have been sexually violated or raped?
Yeah, I don't think I'm the person you should be asking that question. Because whenever a girl told me that she was violated or raped, I automatically believed her. I never once sat and thought, wow, she might be lying. Never. Never. Not once. So fuck you.
Why do you assume a woman's angry because she's on her period?
Because some women do get angry when they're on their period. Some women do have mood swings. That's a fact. That's not even a joke.
Why do you think women that wear makeup are false advertising? We can say the same thing about your dick size.
No you can't. Well, what, you mean when it's flaccid? Isn't that a good thing? When it's flaccid, that means it can only get longer. What, you mean some guys lie about their dick size? That's the dumbest thing in the world. If your dick is 5 inches long, right? And you go up to a girl saying, yeah, I got an 8-inch dick. The time you guys go to have sex is going to be like, hey, about 3 inches are missing off, motherfucker. What's going on? Except when you put on makeup, you are portraying that you look a way that you don't. You can't really falsely advertise your dick size. I mean, when push comes to shove, you're going to find out that it's bullshit. However, you can wear makeup during the time that you have sex, take that shit off, and look like a completely different person. That's why. That's like a false dichotomy. They're not even the same thing, really.
Why isn't it weird that there's a bunch of old white men sitting in a room making legislation about what I can and can't do with my body?
Because you live in a democratic republic. Do you want to live in a place where a bunch of Asian men decide what you can and can't do with your body? Take your happy ass to North Korea. How about that?
You have a coochie?
Why are straight guys so obsessed with lesbians?
To be completely honest, I don't really think much of lesbians. I guess I'm not your target audience.
How does it feel to get kicked in the balls?
Do you ever
I'll try to describe it as accurately as I can. It's a very similar feeling to getting the wind knocked out of you, if that's ever happened to you, right? Except the pain doesn't come from the solar plex. It kind of comes from slightly above, like the pelvic area. You know, it kind of feels like a bit of a crushing feeling, you know, and you lose a little bit of control of your body. You're just in a bunch of this nauseating pain that continues for like 3 to 5 minutes. It kind of feels something like that.
ever get tired of trying to be manly all the time?
I don't, but I'm sure there are some men who do.
Why are you so afraid of gender equality?
Because no one is fighting for gender equality. That's why. I mean, if you look at what feminists are saying, they're just asking for a bunch of special privileges. They want to be equal to men without any of the responsibilities, which actually makes them superior in a sense. I mean, they can do whatever they want, but men have to fall back and make sure that nothing bad happens to them. That's not gender equality. And in all honesty, I don't even think a lot of women want gender equality, because that would mean they'd be responsible for things. So no one really wants gender equality, really. And I already think men and women are equal, just different. So I think people are just trying to ruin a good thing, honestly.
Why do I deserve to be paid less than you?
I can't.
What world does 77 cents equal $1?
I can't. No.
In what world does 68 cents equal $1?
How is that fair?
It hurts. It hurts. Just make it stop. Please make it stop. It hurts. Why are you intimidated by a woman who makes more money than you?
Because the vast majority of women do not want to date men who make less money than them. If a man dates a woman that makes more money than him, the countdown to when she's about to leave has begun. That's why.
That's awesome. More money.
Why are opinionated women seen as bitches?
To be fair, opinionated people in general are oftentimes very unpleasant, because with opinionated it also comes obnoxious and sometimes an air of moral arrogance to them. So if the person has all of those attributes, being opinionated, that's why, because they're unpleasant people to be around. That goes for men and women. And more than that, opinionated by itself isn't a problem. It's okay to be opinionated and have different opinions. What's not okay is to be a jackass about it.
When opinionated men are seen as bosses.
What?
Not necessarily. Depending on where you are, opinionated men can be seen as fired. Like if you're on Facebook and you call someone a slut.
Why aren't you speaking up when you hear your male friends behind closed doors make jokes that are offensive to women?
Because they are jokes. They are not statements to be taken seriously. When men make those jokes, they know that they don't hate women. They know they're just making fun of some of the things women do. Stop with this creation of white knighting bullshit, alright? Because I know good and goddamn well when a bunch of girls are talking about how all men cheat on them, are potential rapists, don't care about them, how all men wish nothing but to use them. I know for a fact that there isn't a single woman around that says, hey, wait a minute, stop. My brother isn't like that, my dad isn't like that, and my boyfriend isn't like that. So get that white knighting bullshit out my house.
Why are you so afraid of recognizing your own privilege?
Because men realize that we don't really have privileges so much as we have responsibilities. For everything that we can do, there's probably 10 or 15 things that we have to do. That's why men have a tough time saying, hey, this is my male privilege. Because with it comes a whole list of other shit that ain't so much of a privilege. So, that's the end of their video, and subsequently, the end of mine. I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, man, go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below, and as always, have a great day. I will see you cool cats soon. Adios.